11th. Hey, property management friends. I'm your host, Jeremy Pound from RentScale. Now, never have we had so many clients reaching out to us to hire as we have in this last month. So I wanted to create a special episode for you guys exactly on that topic. The industry seems to be doing so well, and we may be in a golden age of property management right now. So I hope you're enjoying it while it lasts, and I hope it lasts for a long time. We've got a packed show, so I want to jump right in and share how we are hiring executives in 2024, in case that's something that you want to be doing as well. Now, last episode, we did a full 2023 scoreboard update for the whole year. So we wanted to circle back and actually share the December scoreboard just to keep it consistent so you always see exactly what's happening every single month. So let's invite Jen in to tell us how the Scale Club community did last month. Let's jump right into the scoreboard.
Hey everyone, welcome back for another Scale Club scoreboard update. Now, for those of you who don't know or are unaware, Scale Club is our community of business development managers all across the country working to grow property management companies by finding and generating leads and putting them through the funnel and working to close them and add doors. Now, normally when we report out December numbers, we see a little bit of a drop. We expect that there's going to be some seasonality coming across in December. Things typically slow down. People are less likely to want to make changes. Everyone settles into what we refer to as the holiday season, right? And so typically when we forecast, we assume that December is going to be a little bit lower than other months. Now, that was not the case this month. In December, our BDMs actually closed more doors than they did in November, and they closed more doors than they did last year. I got to thinking about why is that? Why have we closed more doors in December than we did in November in a month that we typically see things slide back a little bit? And I really think that although market conditions and several other factors come into play, it's because our community refused to become complacent with the holidays and sit back and relax. We actually went out there and taught BDMs that, hey, this is the time to hustle. This is when you put the effort in. Everyone else is in holiday mode. Everyone else is relaxing a little bit. Now is when you go over the top, and go over the top is exactly what they did. So without further delay, let me share with you our results for the month of December 2023. Now, really interesting, you will see that our community added on average 8 doors per month. That's of all members across the entire community, which is up 10% from November. Our top performing BDMs, so the top 50% of our community, were adding an average of 13 doors in December. That's absolutely incredible. That's on pace with what we saw in August and September. So as you can see, they were up 30%, and we had some big wins in the month of December. In fact, we had our BDM close the highest number of doors in 1 month. I want to give a huge shout out to Brad, who closed 126 doors and landed him at the top of our leaderboard. Now, those 126 doors were some multifamily, some single family residential, but Brad's been working on this deal for a while and he absolutely crushed it. So big congratulations to you. Then we also had no slacker right behind him, Eugene, Oregon, at 21 doors. And believe it or not, he was actually down just a little bit from his previous month of November, but still signed 21 doors. In Glendale, or OC, California, 13 doors, and that was up from November. Austin, Texas at 11, and then Hampton Roads and Denver came in and tied with 10 doors in December. Overall, our community signed 313 doors in December. That's an increase on November. We couldn't be more proud of our BDMs for continuing to hustle and go out there and execute and do the things that we need to do in order to sign. Now, interestingly enough, this was all with a decreased lead volume. Yep, you see that right. We had an increased number of doors with a decreased lead volume. We were heavily focused on converting deals in the pipeline and making sure that we were progressing people through and converting at each stage. So lots of really exciting things. As you can see in December, our BDMs were 75% to goal, and we can't wait to share with you what they achieve in January. Before I leave you though, I want to give you an update on what we're focused on this year in Scale Club and what we're kind of driving towards. You've heard us mention Allbound. That's going to be a theme throughout all of 2024. So we're really excited to connect Allbound and the theory of inbound, outbound, and nextbound all together in a lot of our skill development sessions and continuing education for our community. This month, we are focused heavily on closing. We are focused on lead conversion systems and making sure that you're converting at the highest rate possible and moving people through that pipeline. In order to do that, you've got to have a good system in place. That's what we're talking about in Skill Dev, which is the last Friday of every month. If you want an invitation, please reach out. I'll get you a calendar invite. We'd love to have you step into our community and hear what our BDMs are doing. That's it for me. So back to you, Jeremy.
Wow. Well, as I can see in the comments, you guys are pretty excited about 126 doors in a month. And I just want to point out that we did share on the last episode that our Scale Club community added over 3,000 doors together, which is unbelievable. And so that looks like it's 2 months in a row, back-to-back record-breaking months. So I think you guys heard the story about Christian working with the developers, bringing on nearly 100 doors in November. And now here we are again, working on the next month, bringing in over 100 doors. Unbelievable. So really excited to share some of those details with you guys. I mentioned that we may be in the golden age, and that only accounts or only applies if you're actually doing the work and taking these strategies to the bank, because I know they work. So I'm excited to bring Jen back on to share how we're hiring these days, because honestly, all those record-breaking people, we had a collaboration, a part in hiring those people, which is what we want to show you guys how to do. And I promise if you stick around, you're going to learn something huge. Everything you think about hiring may be null and void in 2024 because things are just a little bit different these days with technology and all of the opportunities that we have. So if you're looking to hire an executive, whether that's a business development manager or that's a chief of staff or anybody else for your company, I really would like you to stick around to watch this. So we're going to invite Jen back in just a moment, but first, a quick word from a sponsor.
Hi there. Did you know that RentScale hosts one of the largest communities of property management sales professionals in North America? Well, my name is Reese Register, and I'm actually a previous BDM and currently a scale coach here at RentScale. We provide over 20 hours monthly of teaching and training and accountability to make sure that our BDMs are supercharging their sales business through inbound, outbound, and allbound. So if you're interested in learning more about supercharging your business, go over to rentscale.com. We'll be glad to schedule a consult and see how we can help you transform your business today.
Welcome back, Jen. Thanks for that great update on the scoreboard. I'm excited to have you here in the studio. One question I have for you right away is we go to these conferences, everybody's talking about global workforce and VAs and how we're able to drive down our costs and just hire people at a fraction of the cost of a US workforce. But we're going to talk about hiring on LinkedIn today. Why would we want to be using LinkedIn when we have all these global options?
Yeah, Jeremy, you make a great point. We see it at every single conference, and it seems like there's more and more companies popping up that are helping people figure out how to hire global workforces. And it's great. for certain roles. But there are some roles that a global workforce is likely not going to work for. And when I think about who might not work if they were global or remote, I would think of a BDM. You know, we really want a BDM to have boots on the ground. They should be networking with the people in the community. It should be a very local based type role. And then I think about some of the leadership and executive positions that you might have at your property management company. And those are not ideally suited for someone who's global because they may miss some context.
Okay, got it. So one thing that I'm seeing a lot of our clients doing is they're leveling up their game, they're scaling, and they're starting to look for those executives, those people that they can bring on to the company so that they can work on the business instead of doing everything in the business. And so we are currently hiring for somebody that we're hoping to bring on. Walk us through the process that we've been using and why we're so excited about. So what are we advertising for? What did we do? And what have the results been so far?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are advertising for our next scale consultant role, which is our version of a salesperson. And we received an overwhelming response for this role. And we put this out solely on LinkedIn, did not advertise anywhere else. Into LinkedIn, we got 458 applicants, 458. And it was in a matter of 10 days. So pretty insane results that we saw just from putting it there. You know, we advise our clients to put it on LinkedIn and maybe even an Indeed type site, depending on where you are locally. But we wanted to try something out just on LinkedIn. I've been so impressed by the candidates that we've received here.
Okay, so 400 candidates in 10 days. How are we ever going to get through these people, and what's the next step? Because that sounds, I know it was my account, which stresses me out. I know I log into LinkedIn. I've got 400 messages. I'm not really sure what to do. So what did we do when we got this overwhelming response?
You know, Jeremy, it was your account. Thankfully, you didn't have to sort through. However, it was actually fairly manageable. Did I spend time going through? Absolutely. Was it completely automated? No. However, when we got those 458 resumes in, the next thing we did was took a quick glance, and I'm spending seconds just looking for a few key things, right? And then once they met a very quick benchmark, we would send, I would say 95% of the candidates, those 458 people, 95% of them got an email that I templated out. So it was the same email. Everybody got the same thing back. And all candidates were asked to then go and film a video. That was the very first step really in our interview process. So in our application process, it was first LinkedIn, submit your resume, and then next was send them over to what the site is called My Interview. And it asks them for a video interview. Takes them 5 to 10 minutes to complete. It's fairly quick, but that really helped us narrow down the candidate pool and not have it be this overwhelming, hey, let's look over 450 resumes and read through all of these. Can you imagine how long that would have taken?
No, I can't. That actually sounds like my worst nightmare. So you're saying that you quickly took a look, but you didn't look at a resume. What exactly were you looking at?
So I specifically looked for a couple different things. One, I want to see that people are not jumping around from job to job. We are looking for this position for someone to really stay in it. So that was the very first thing I looked at. I didn't look at their resume. I literally, the first thing that pops up on LinkedIn is their experiences. So I would click the button that says show more experiences. Right underneath the first two that they show. And I'm looking for some longevity in a job. I'm not trying to get someone that has 10 years experience in a role. But if I see, 2016 to 2017, 2017 to 2017, 2018 to 2019, that's just often too much for me. I'm looking for someone who is looking for some stability. So for me, that was one of the first factors that I looked for.
But I guess we're only looking at LinkedIn. I mean, what if somebody isn't on LinkedIn? Are we being unfair by only looking at their LinkedIn profile?
This is a really interesting question. And I was actually talking with one of our clients about this the other day. And the thing about it is in this particular role for us, in this sales role, we need somebody who's going to be out there in the community, ready to network. And social media is a huge piece of that. I also want somebody that I don't have to teach that skill to. I want somebody who already has that skill and can teach it to others. So one of the other things that I looked for, Jeremy, when I was going through this is if you didn't have a profile picture or you had a really incomplete profile, I wasn't even going to look at your any of your information. You were rejected right there. So am I being unfair? No, it's just what I'm looking for in this role. I would say that it's a prerequisite that they have a full built out LinkedIn profile and that they're on there and they're active in the community.
Fascinating. And I guess true. I mean, we're looking for a sales type role, but the whole point of this is hiring executives. Mm-hmm. And if we're going to hire an executive, that means now there is an argument to promote from within, which I totally understand. Somebody's been with you. I mean, you were promoted to chief operating officer from within. And I had a year or two of experience to draw off of before I did that. But if we're going out to the market and we're hiring complete strangers, I think that the assumption is we're looking for somebody with real experience and somebody with 10, 15 years experience in an executive role or on their way up to an executive role. They should probably have a LinkedIn profile and keep it updated. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, at this point in their career, they should have a LinkedIn profile. I also want somebody who has that technical acumen, right? And I know at a property management company, even when you're hiring a leadership position, you should be looking for someone that is going to level you up, that scares you a little bit, right? And so I want somebody who has that ability to be in that space and who really is already networking. I mean, I think it's good for their career anyways, but for us, I don't believe if you're on LinkedIn if you're not on LinkedIn that you're not gonna thrive in our environment. You're just not gonna find that it's the right space for you. And so that's kind of a qualifier that I have found out recently is like if you're not on LinkedIn, your level of professionalism with the rest of the world may not be quite what I'm looking for in this role. And I think for an executive, that should also apply.
All right, so I want to say what a lot of owners are watching is thinking right now. So a lot of people are thinking, hey, if somebody's on LinkedIn and they're really active and they work for me, that means they're just looking for a job. The only reason to go on LinkedIn is to be looking for a job. And I've heard that from a lot of people. And I'm thinking about you because I'm an active LinkedIn user. And when I log on in the morning, sometimes the first thing I see is your activity and the interaction that you've done. And, correct me if I'm wrong, if you want to tell everybody live here that I need to be worried, I don't think you're out actively looking for a job as far as I'm concerned. But I still see you, I think, happily into a job using LinkedIn. So can you dispel maybe any myths that people might have that the only reason that somebody's active on LinkedIn is because they're looking for a job?
I mean, there's a lot of education on there. I'll be honest, I spend more time on LinkedIn than I do on Instagram. I don't know what that says about me, but there's so much information that gets put on LinkedIn, and it's not just about jobs. There's industry updates. People from the industry are posting different things. You're learning about what's going on with companies. You're able to have a sense of community and congratulate other people that you've met who might have received a promotion or might have taken a new job or might be looking for a job. And it's not just about you looking for a job. It's about the entire community centered around this development of professionalism.
Okay, so what I'm taking away is step one was we spent how much money on LinkedIn?
We spent $405 on the 458 applicants. So if you think about it, just from a very simple standpoint, it's about $1 for every applicant that came in.
Amazing. So $405. I remember I put the budget at $45 a day, which seemed very aggressive, but we knew this is not the first time we're hiring for this position. So I thought, well, you know what? We know what we're looking for. Do I want to sit around and dabble? And it crossed my mind. Do I want to, spend $10 a day, $20 a day? And then am I budgeting for a 30, 60 day time frame? Or can I blitz this thing? Can I come up with, I was like $45 a day. Seems a little aggressive. I think their recommendation was like $40, $38. And I was like, all right, let's do it. 10 days later, we had to shut the ads off shut the ads off, right? Because we couldn't keep up with everybody. And they were quality candidates. So we're going to come back to why we think we got so many applications, but we basically spent about $1 per applicant. And then we were overwhelmed. And then so we take them to a next step. We're using technology as well. Tell us about how we're limiting the pool and talking to the finalists.
Yeah, so we are taking the people so everybody that applied, 95% of people that applied on LinkedIn then got a templated email that requested them to go to this My Interview site. And they filmed 3 videos for us that we requested. And on My Interview, you can ask them whatever questions you want, ask them to film whatever videos you'd like. But then we got those people to film videos. Now, the cool thing is that not everybody's going to film a video. So something that I've seen on LinkedIn when we hire for ourselves, but also when we hire for our clients, is that LinkedIn makes applying for jobs really easy. In fact, all hiring platforms make applying for jobs very easy. You have one resume, you upload it into the platform, and then you just go down, you search business development manager, you search sales, you search director of something, director of property management, whatever it is that you are best suited to do or you want to do. And you can basically go down the list and say, oh, apply. So your resume is going out really quickly. And if the employer isn't requiring additional information or qualifications, it's just such an easy thing. So what I've seen is that some people are not actually bought into the role necessarily, but instead they're just trying to get a job. So they're putting it out there. My Interview helps weed those people out. The people who didn't read the job description, who aren't really interested in the role, they don't take the time to film the videos because it's the next step that, somebody's not calling them on the phone going, hey, I'd like to talk to you about this job. You have to actually put some effort into it. So when they go to that site, it does eliminate not a good majority, that's not fair. We usually say you get a 10% response rate, and that's actually really close to what we got. So we had 458 on LinkedIn, and we received 42 candidates interviewed back on the video platform, My Interview. So that started to weed out some people initially.
And so for people watching this that don't know what My Interview is, if I'm a candidate or an applicant, I get a link and I click on it, what's my experience like, both as an applicant and what do we experience as the hiring people? I think that we should really not leave that to the imagination.
So on this particular site, as an applicant, it is so easy. So again, this is another thing that if someone struggles with the technology, it's very simple. The buttons are clear. It's hard to screw it up. And so if somebody does, I'm like, okay, that's a little bit of a red flag, and I want to dive into that. It's not a disqualification for someone, but if you can't figure out a very simple technology, sends up a bit of, I call it an orange flag for me. And technology issues happen, so I don't disqualify people for that, but I do look into it and make sure that they know what they're doing. But as soon as they get on there, it just asks them for their name, it asks them for their email address, and then it dives right in to the videos. It poses the 3 videos that it's going to ask. It lets them know how much time they have to record those videos. You set that, by the way, as the poster. And then it's very simple. It's a button and it says record first video, and it has the prompt up on top, and it has a timer down at the bottom letting them know when they're running out of time to complete their video.
And when you say prompt, I mean, again, I think that the audience at home may not know. I know we ask some very simple questions. We just kind of get to know them with 2 or 3 simple questions, right? What are we trying to get out of this when we ask these questions?
Yeah, so all I'm trying to get when I ask these questions is how not competent, but really how compelling are they? How do they communicate? I'm looking for, what do they wear? What effort did they put into this? Are they saying something compelling, right? So I love when somebody articulates something very clearly. I'm not necessarily listening to what they're saying. I'm actually looking for a lot of different cues. I'm looking even for culture fit. Are they high energy? Like everyone here at Rent Scale is very high energy. I had a client who always wore a suit, and that was what they wore. PM company, they were wearing a suit every single day. And so they wanted someone that showed up in that same way. I also had a client that wore a hoodie every single day. And so they didn't mind if somebody showed up in a hoodie to these interviews. So it kind of depends on what your culture is. But for me and for all of our clients and how we coach people to do this, I'm really looking for, are they saying something compelling? Is there something in there that makes me go, I think I want to learn a little bit more about this person? And if there's not, then I might push them aside or even move them into the rejected pile.
Fantastic. So what's crazy is that we've spent all this time just talking about everything pre-interview, right? It's so easy that everyone's like, hey, I got resumes, I set up interviews. I think it's overwhelming. I mean, this is one of the reasons why we as small business owners or any company without dedicated people really dreads the hiring process. Is they just think through, oh my gosh, if 100 people apply, I need to have 100 interviews. And that's going to take forever. And then I need 50-second interviews and I'm going to have to do all this other stuff, right? And we just know that's not the way that it has to be done. So I will say this. This is what is like I've learned going through this process is you only want to invest your time interviewing the right people. And so we are going out of our way to attract the right people. When you think about a marketing funnel, the top of the funnel is giant, 408, am I right?
458
people coming to the top of the funnel, and then we're narrowing the funnel, and then we're having these my interview videos because 1, it's a hurdle, it's a technical challenge, and 3, it's actually, hey, I only want to talk to somebody who's articulate and is going to actually come off and do this in a great way. Then we do the interviews, right? From there, we pretty much pick up into a normal hiring process that every listener is probably watching. So all we've done is we've stacked the deck, we brought more people in, and then we are only interviewing the right people. Would you agree, or what happens from here at this point?
Yeah, I would agree. And I just want to address this time issue because hiring takes a lot of time and it's a huge distraction to what you're doing. However, if you do it right, it doesn't have to take a lot of time. When I get an application on LinkedIn, it takes me 20 seconds to review what I see very, very quickly and send off a template to almost all of them. So 20 seconds per candidate. Then when they come back in, I only ask them to film 3 short videos. And I am not trying to get everything in these videos. I'm just trying to get a baseline for who they are, how they show up, and if they're compelling to me at all. So I think the desire here, or the maybe tendency, would be to ask a lot of questions and give a lot of time for a response. That's also incorrect. So we got 40 candidates into my interview to film a video. They filmed 3 videos and I gave them 30 to 45 seconds per video. So if you think about that, I log into my interview and I'm spending another, call it 2 minutes on reviewing a candidate. From that, I was able to narrow down to about 7 people. 7. So I reviewed 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes on each of the 40-minute candidates, or the 40 candidates that applied, and I was able to weed it down to 7. So again, this is a huge time saver for me. Jeremy, you and I don't have a lot of time to waste. And so this has really helped us narrow it down to the best of the best. And now we have 7 interviews on the books that we're going to do. We don't do in person, we do Zoom, but a one-on-one.
Okay, so 458 people, level down to around 40 to 50 videos, level down to, let's call it, because I know we're still in the process, let's call it maybe 10 people we'll end up interviewing. Then we'll go to other interviews, then we'll check references, and then we'll really get into the weeds with these people. But at this point, they've really accomplished a lot. So I know we're short on time. Just want to wrap up and say, why are 458 people applying to this role? What have we done? What have we done to grease the skids? Or what was the pre-work that we did to essentially get that kind of application level? And what can our clients be doing if they know they want to hire next month or next year?
Yeah, I mean, so there's a couple different things. One, I think the way you build your company culture and the way you put it out there is really important. I had somebody come up to me. I was at a real estate event the other day, and just a Facebook friend, and they were like, "Man, you look like you're having so much fun. This company looks amazing. I want to be part of this culture," just from things that have been posted on Facebook. So I think promoting your company culture, not just the fun things you do, but the hard work that you do, the intelligence that your team has, I think that's really important. But I also think that it's absolutely crucial that you put out a job description that attracts the right person. We always say that hiring someone is a marketing act, not necessarily a hiring act. Even though they're coming to work for us, if we want top talent, we have to appeal to top talent. And that's not just going to be in the salary and the benefits, although that's going to be important. It needs to intrigue them in the role description. And I think that that is something that gets overlooked. People need to feel a sense of vision. They need to feel a sense of belonging in the culture. They need to feel a sense of advancement opportunity if you really want a top performer.
And I think we have a personal story. We made you an offer and you had 3 offers. This was about 2 years ago. And you decided to come to RentScale. Do you mind just briefly sharing your experience and why you decided to take this role instead of one of the other offers you had?
Yes. So I did have 3 offers when I came on at RentScale. Salaries were fairly close to one another. Some were just a bit lower, just a bit higher. Benefits, were kind of all over the table. But you had actually sent me, as part of all of this, a vision document. And it was a couple pages long, had some, pretty pictures in it, but it also contained some amazing text and just vision about what the company was striving towards and how we were moving forward. And that vision document really got me bought into what I could contribute to this vision and how I could really help level the company up and where my expertise would come in. So the vision document painted a picture of your future is really bright here, but it also painted a picture of we need you and your skills to help accomplish this so that I know I was coming into a space that I was actually going to provide value, because I think everyone stepping into a role wants to feel like they have provided value to the company, that they've driven things forward. So that really sold me on coming into RentScale. And I am such a big believer that every company have a clearly outlined vision document.
Well, Jen, I'm glad we had the document because you've been transformational for the company. We appreciate you. I know that a lot of our clients appreciate you, and anybody who has worked with you knows what a steal I made by bringing you on the team. So I really appreciate that. And I think you're a shining version of what our clients actually want when they're hiring executives. So just to kind of, bring it back to the beginning, I get it. There's a lot of operational talent that is amazing, that can be offshore, that can be virtual. The oldest lesson that I've learned in my business career is outsource anything that's not absolutely critical to your business, and then absolutely own and do the best thing you possibly can with your competitive advantages. And so I think that the parallel is equal to people. There are people that are going to do a great job, they're going to be amazing, and there are those people that are going to be your leadership team, that your executives. And if we truly, do want to grow our company, the great analogy or the great proverb is, if you want to go somewhere fast, go alone. If you want to go far, bring people with you, right? And I think that is the executive leadership team that we're trying to build here. And we want to invest in those people. So thank you so much for sharing that. Any parting shots before we sign off?
The only thing I'd say for anybody out there listening is, when you are hiring, especially when you're hiring an executive leadership position, hire someone that scares you. Hire someone that you're like, man, they've got their stuff together. I don't even know if I have mine together enough to bring them on. Are they going to want to do this? I That is such good advice because it causes you to level everything up in preparation for them. But then you're hiring someone into your company, into your sphere that you know is going to help you go to the next level. If you hire someone that doesn't scare you, I would say that you're settling. So make sure that when you get this person, this is somebody who you're like, man, I'm not sure I'm good enough for them. That's when you found the right person.
Love that. I think I was a little scared to hire you, but I also think, I was a little further along my entrepreneurial journey. And that's why we had multiple meetings over a weekend to make sure that we hired you. I was a little scared, but I was also certain. And I think that calibrates over time. Maybe in the beginning, it scares you a little bit, and then you get a little used to that. And then it's like, hey, I'm just, what do we say? If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no, right? And that's what we did. You told us you had 2 other offers. Like, we had to make a decision. I said, hey, this is a hell yes. And we went after it. And so I'd encourage everybody else to think the same way. All right.
Yeah.
I got to let you go. I know you got some other stuff to do, but really appreciate you being here. And thanks so much for sharing the journey.
Thank you for having me on. It was a pleasure.
All right. We'll see you on the next one. All right, so I've got lots of thoughts from that I want to share, and lots of things that we've experienced here. So one of the things that I want to really bring out that we saw was the only reason that I think that we got over 400 applicants is that we already had a really strong online presence. So we knew that we had a great role. We had lots of people talking about what we do, and we had a ton of reputational assets online. So if you go and you look at RentScale, if you look at a job, it's exactly what's going to happen to you. So if you post a job and you've got a terrible online reputation and nobody is actually talking about how great it is to work for you, you're probably not going to get that kind of response. So whether you're looking to hire today or 6 months from now or a year from now, I want you to know that you should be thinking what a candidate would think when they come to work for you. Gone are the days where people just basically look at job ads and they say, hey, I'd be lucky to work for this company, based on comp and based on role. There's so much opportunity. There is so much demand for quality talent these days that you have to be doing the work. You have to be marketing just like you market your product and your service. So I want you to do the work. I want you to have a really compelling offer that you can make to people. B, I want it to be verifiable. I want people to go online. We're not giant companies. We don't have a big Glassdoor reputation, but we've got an online reputation. We've got social media. We've got people talking about what we do. With LinkedIn, everybody knows who you know. And I've been told by candidates, hey, I made some calls. I checked out. It's a great job. I'm really excited about it. Put in the work. Build a company like that where you can attract great people like Jen, because that's what's going to make your business great. Excited to share with you guys some calendar events, but first, a word from our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Strategic PM, the magazine for property management entrepreneurs and executives. If you go online to strategicpm.com today, you're going to find an entire website full of content written about your industry and by your peers. And it's completely free to sign up. Just go ahead and click on the create a free account right in the upper right-hand corner. When you click on that, not only can you create a digital account, but you can actually add your mailing address and we will send you a free 1-year subscription of the print magazine, which will be showing up in your offices every single quarter. So if you take a look inside the magazine, what you're gonna see is that we are focused on growth. We've got 5 pillars of Strategic PM: vision, strategy, culture, marketing, and experience. You're going to be seeing some great high-class content from some of the best thought leaders in the industry talking about the matters that matter the most to your business. So sign up for free today at strategicpm.com and look for the magazine in your office.
I hope you guys appreciate that. Jen just dropped a ton of knowledge that I was very excited about. And by the way, I did see the comments. I apologize. I realized my audio was a little bit lower than hers. We'll get that figured out. But thanks for sticking with it because the content was amazing. I want to ask you guys, if you got value from that, would you please like this episode? Would you follow us on Strategic PM? If you're not, would you share it with somebody who also needs to hear what we're doing? Because we are doing this for you guys. We are trying to show up twice a month, sharing exactly with you guys where the industry is going, what the best things that are happening are, so that you guys can take them into your business. Appreciate Jen showing up. That was amazing. We shared everything that we've done. Hiring is just not what it used to be. And I appreciate if you guys are experiencing that and you're putting in the work to build the kind of company that's going to attract the kind of people that you believe are going to set you apart from everybody else. Let's jump into the calendar because we've got a lot coming up. Next week, if you haven't already signed up, you're probably not going to sign up because I believe it's already sold out. But we have the PM Systems Workshop in Las Vegas, Nevada. Paul and Wolf and so many other great people are putting this on. I wish I could have been there. I was asked to come, but we just have too much going on right now in January to be able to make it. But I'm so excited about the PM Systems Conference in Las Vegas. Jen and I personally are going to the KeyRunner Summit, their franchise annual summit, which is on a cruise ship, Camano Lauderdale, which is super easy. I'm excited to share some really cool things that I'm going to share with them first that you will probably hear from me on these episodes in the future when I get back. February 6th, we have the BizDev Mastermind seminar in San Antonio. So we've got Brian putting on an amazing version of business development that they're seeing. Obviously, they are a competitor of ours at RentScale, but we love those guys and we love what they're doing. And so I'm excited for people who are going to go to the BizDev Mastermind seminar who couldn't go to our event in December. And they're going to learn a ton about how to grow their company. So check out bizdevseminar.com, and that could be an amazing event that could shape your year. There's the Rental Pros Summit virtual conference. So I was reached out to, I don't know much about this, but somebody reached out to us and said this was going on. I checked out the website. I know some of the speakers. This also looks like an amazing event. It's totally virtual. It is February 6th to 8th. You can sign up below. We're going to drop in the link. It is just rentalprosummit.com. It's a very reasonable conference. And I'm excited to see what they're bringing to the table because that is an entirely new one. So let's jump into the state conferences. It's 2024 and we are back into, regular conference season. So Hector from our team is going to head out to Charlotte, North Carolina. And in February the 28th to the 29th, we're having the North Carolina State NARPM Property Management Conference. So we've got a ton of friends, including the Better Who guys and a ton of clients that put on this event. This is one of my favorite state conferences, to be honest with you. I may end up surprising and just popping in, but we definitely have team members going to the North Carolina Property Management Conference. And if you're in that area, I would highly recommend that you sign up. One thing that I'm really excited about, for obvious reasons, if you know me, is the California State Conference this year is in Napa Valley. So we are going to head out. We're bringing multiple people. Jen is actually speaking at the NARPM State Conference. It is March 28th to 29th at the very end of March in Napa Valley. I couldn't say no. I'm going to go out and drink some wine, have a little good time. We're bringing some of our team members out, and so we hope to see you there. On the next month, Denver is actually having their NARPM conference. Not quite a state conference, but just as big for the most part. I think typically the Denver conference has been one day, and this year it's going to be 2 days. It's April 8th and 9th. I will be speaking at that conference. I'm very excited about. Just search for the 2-day event at denver.narpm.org. It's going to be a fantastic event, and I hope to see you guys there. So, as I said in the beginning of the event, we have been reached out by so many people. The property managers that we have a relationship with seem like they are growing so fast. It does seem like a very exciting time. It seems like a golden age in property management. More people than we've ever seen before are hiring and looking to level up. And I hope you're thinking about doing the same thing yourself. That's what we're thinking about going on. And that's what's happening this week in PM. See you guys in 2 weeks.